From New York! Live from New York, Onyx Late Night with Jeff and Luke.
All right, well guys, I am so honored and happy to introduce to you our next guest. He's been the lead pastor of the Gene Faith Center for 27 years. Give it up for Steve Onyx! On the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's great to be here, Luke.
So, just let's get into some questions. You've been such an iconic symbol in Faith Center. You've been such a great. You've contributed. Give me a break. So, was ministry always something you knew you wanted to go into, or was there a time when you chose ministry?
Yeah, number two. So, I grew up in a Christian family, but, I really made a commitment to the Lord when I was a freshman at the university. And kind of right away, I was kind of drawn towards the scripture, and I actually started teaching a Bible study in my dorm, and a lot of people started coming, and I hadn't read the Bible yet. But it seemed to work fine. Yeah, so, then I met some students who invited me to come to Faith Center and got involved with the church a little more. And so I kind of felt kind of a gear there, But I wondered, and I was a history major, and I thought about, a couple things, including teaching school. In fact, I had a double major in secondary ed and in history because I thought, well, I might want to teach school and coach and stuff. But really, as I went on through college, I remember one summer I was painting a house with a friend of mine, and we were just doing the painting, and I was thinking about what am I going to do, and then this sounds so unspiritual when I listen to myself say this now, but it's like, what else should you do? Of course you should do that, So I don't know. Somehow it sort of just came out, and you could tell that it was natural for me to do that. So
yeah, that's awesome. So you were a college-age pastor at the House of His Presence before you became senior pastor?
Correct.
So did you live at the House of His Presence?
I did for 1 year because I had actually already graduated.
And real quick, do you want to explain what the House of His Presence is for those who don't know?
That's kind of a secret. I didn't know. It's a special night. I'm going to divulge what it's all about. Yeah, but yeah, the church has owned a college-age house for a long time, and the one we owned before this one was about half the size, and it was called the House of His Presence. Not sure what the marketing department would do with that name. Onyx is a lot better. But so I had just graduated from the university, and I worked full-time at the church, and so I was the college-age pastor, but also did some other things. And so the first year being the college-age pastor, I wanted to go live in the house so I could get to know some of the people that were helping to lead the ministry. So I lived there for a year, and it was an epic year. I mean, it was, there was about 36 people that lived there, and, I had a job. I had to get up early and leave and stuff. So one funny thing is, I lived up in an attic with about 5 guys, but it was a nice attic, and there was a little sort of a secret door that was a little storage thing, and you could pull it out and in. And after about 2 weeks, I moved into that to sleep, so I could sleep there. And but our room, like in September and then on through the next summer, that attic was super hot. But we devised this thing. When it got hot, we put sprinklers on the roof and fans at both ends, and we sucked in the cool air, and it became legendary. It was called the fridge. And we wouldn't let people come in there. We made this big mystique about it and stuff. So yeah, that was a fun year. I would say.
So is that where you met your wife, Tana?
No, I didn't meet Tana there. I actually met her at Faith Center, as a matter of fact, but I saw her about, almost a year before then. So I was out Friday night, I was playing pickup basketball with a bunch of my buddies, and there was a big South-North basketball game at South Eugene High School. So we went there, and we were up in the balcony. I was standing there with my friends, and Tana's 7.5 years younger than me. So I'm standing there with my friends, and Tana was a cheerleader at South. She was a senior, and I said to my friends, "Man, look at that cheerleader. She's so cute." And so one of my friends said, "That's illegal, man." I go, "Okay, I haven't done anything. Just talking." But I kind of thought about, I thought about her. And at Faith Center in November, her young life leader in high school was a really good friend of mine. In fact, I played a lot of basketball with him, and so it was in November, and he was staying there with a bunch of students from South Eugene, and said, "Steve, come here and meet somebody." And Tana was a freshman now, and she was one of them. I go, "Oh my gosh, it's that cheerleader," So we met, and she started coming to the Bible studies I was leading, and I thought, okay, you cannot do this, okay? It's like, you cannot date freshmen, So, but I kind of liked her, but she never thought about it. Then she started liking me later, but I was completely freaking out, like I cannot do that, So we finally worked it out, and I'm glad we did.
And how long have you guys been married?
34 years.
So earlier we heard some embarrassing stories from Jess and Lainey. Have you had any embarrassing experiences pastoring?
How much time you got? I don't know. Yeah, so many. Well, speaking of when I was a college age minister, before I met Tana, there was a girl I was pretty close friends with, and we kind of dated a little bit, the beginnings of it, but she ended up being more kind of a really good friend. But so I was leading worship at Faith Center one, I think it was an evening service or something. But so Carmen, I picked up Carmen. We drove over there, and in those days we would not rehearse anything. The band just all played by ear, and they just follow me, So I got my guitar and I led the worship. I came and sat down next to Carmen after that, and I realized I had this really light sweater on that is just like a shirt almost, and it has buttons from here up, and I had it completely unbuttoned the whole time. I was so embarrassed. I go, "Carmen, why didn't you tell me my shirt was unbuttoned?" And she kind of got shy. She goes, "I thought you were trying to be cool." I go, "I don't even have any chest hair." Another really good one was, there was a man in the church, and so his father had never come to the church or anything, and his dad died, and so he asked and if I would come and do a graveside funeral for him. And I'd never met his dad, and I didn't even know his name. And so the guy's name was Eldrick something Haugen, okay? So I'm sitting there leading the funeral. There's probably 60 or 80 people over in Springfield, and it's at the graveyard. So the casket's there, and I'm in front of the casket talking, and there's there's a row of really elderly people right in front of me. There was one lady that was like in her 90s, and she was right in front of me and hard of hearing. So I'm kind of doing a little sermon, and I'm talking about Eldrick, but I kind of got his name wrong. I was thinking it was Frederick, so I go, at one point in the message I'm going, "So where's Fred today?" I go, "Frankly, Fred's in a good place. He's not here with us." And so I'm talking like this, and so she finally leans out, grabs my sport coat, and tugs on it really hard and says with a super loud voice, she goes, "His name was Eldrick." People go, "What happened after that?" I go, "I cannot remember." Actually, I'll tell you one thing that happened. So there was a guy there with his wife who thought it was just hilarious. And so he met me after the thing, and he just thought it was so funny. And so we chatted a while, and he and his wife ended up started coming to the church. So I don't know, the Lord used it, obviously. But so that Christmas, that was September, that Christmas we got a Christmas card from that guy addressed to, quote, Fred and Tana Overman.